Today on Public Eye News, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist II announces a new challenge designed to tackle Michigan's climate goals. But first, Eagle announces that the state of Michigan has smashed a recycling record.
Bianca Kroll will have our weather forecast for the next couple of days, and later, JT DeMog will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Luke Niddle.
And I'm Aubrey Huddleston, and this is Public Eye News. The Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, otherwise known as EGLE, has reported a record-high recycling rate throughout the state. EGLE research has shown that Michigan has been on a steady increase when it comes to recycling, jumping more than 10% in the last 5 years. Not only is recycling great for the environment, but it also adds an annual $17 billion to Michigan's economy and provides over 72,000 jobs to Michiganders. And many regions close to home are receiving grants to further support their recycling efforts. Hancock, Ironwood, and Ishpeming, to name a few, are all recipients of grants aimed at furthering the development of supply chains and advancing recycling efforts. And as it stands now, the Michigan School Meals Program provides free breakfast and lunch to participating schools if more than 25% of students qualify for free or reduced meals. However, there has been recent federal pushback on this program, with some lawmakers attempting to raise the requirement to 60%. If enacted, this would affect hundreds of thousands of Michiganders currently benefiting from this program. Since its implementation in 2023, 25% more students are eating lunch at school. And State Superintendent Dr. Michael F. Rice is one of many advocates for this program, saying, quote, "Children who eat well have a greater opportunity for academic success," end quote.
Researchers at Michigan Technological University are currently exploring ice-dwelling bacteria with potential benefit to the United States military. Michigan Tech's Great Lakes Research Center has collaborated with the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency and their Ice Control for Cold Environments program. The two are currently partnered in a new project called Ice Control Compounds from Bacterial Isolates and Functional Metagenomics, with just under $800,000 in funding. The goal of the project is to better understand natural conditions and adaptations that control the when, where, and how of ice crystal formation. The newfound understanding could serve as temporary infrastructure, such as bridges and buildings made from ice. And Carl Morris Incorporated has reported on their current successes in the first quarter of 2025. NMU alumni and KMI founders Adam Call and Austin Morris were recently named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, and the company was awarded a Space Domain Awareness TAP Lab contract for orbit reattribution. KMI was also featured in a regional Super Bowl commercial for NMU. Additionally, KMI became the first company, public or private, and the first commercial entity to capture and secure an uncontrolled object in orbit in November of 2024 when they arrived on the International Space Station. KMI looks to continue showcasing their work at conferences all around the country, including Los Angeles and Seattle. And the Catholic faithful are getting a chance to pay their final respects to Pope Francis, who died Monday at the age of 88. His body transferred to St. Peter's Basilica overnight in a solemn procession ahead of a scaled-down funeral Saturday. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from the Vatican.
Tens of thousands of mourners from around the world are streaming into St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City to say a final farewell to Pope Francis.
There's kind of just a mixture of emotions.
He was such a beloved leader.
Bells tolled Wednesday as Francis's body was moved to the 16th century Catholic Church from his residence at Casa Santa Marta.
How long did you wait to see the Pope?
Like 2 hours or more.
This family from Mexico had just landed in Rome for vacation Monday when they heard of the Pope's passing.
He was a really nice person to everyone and a big inspiration.
In a solemn procession, pallbearers carried Francis's simple wooden coffin through St. Peter's Square, the same journey he made on Easter Sunday, hours before he died. Unlike his predecessors, the body of Pope Francis is not elevated in St. Peter's Basilica behind me. Instead, it's facing the pews as close to the people as possible in death, just as he wanted it in life. In 2022, Francis wrote he wanted to keep his funeral modest and be remembered as a simple disciple of Christ.
Pope Francis has made it clear that he does not wish to be buried at St. Peter's Basilica.
On Friday evening, a veil will be placed over the Pope's face and his coffin will be closed ahead of Saturday's funeral. In a break from tradition, Pope Francis will be laid to rest at St. Mary Major, a church he visited more than 100 times during his papacy. Tina Kraus, CBS News, the Vatican.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and statewide news after this break.
In the fourth year of Changing Planet, we are focusing on two of the largest river restoration projects ever attempted.
What?
One urban,
The River Seine is undergoing a colossal detox.
one wild and remote.
These dams will be completely gone within a matter of months.
Everyone knows there's hope. It's big.
These are stories of ambition and action for our changing planet.
And welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather segment for today. Now, looking at the roof cam behind me on campus, it is absolutely beautiful outside. Really few clouds in the sky, and you can see that wind in there, but this wind is pushing in that beautiful warm weather. Now, taking a look at the map of the UP here, we'll start off in Houghton with 53 degrees and cloudy, in Ironwood 61 with mostly sunny skies, Iron Mountain 63 and sunny, that beautiful sun, and Menominee 51 and mostly sunny. And we move into the other side of the UP over here. In Escanaba, we're seeing a high of 50 and with that beautiful sunshine. In Manistique, 52 and mostly sunny. Sault Ste. Marie, 54 with that also the same conditions. And back in beautiful Marquette, we're seeing 57 and sunny, which is peaking into the high 60s here. Now, if we look into our current conditions a little further, the winds are south 14 miles per hour and our barometric pressure is 30.07 inches and falling. And if we're looking into tonight, we're going to see some rain showers with a low of 39, the winds west at 10 miles per hour, and our moon phase is a waning crescent. And looking into tomorrow, we're going to see some partly cloudy skies with a high of 47, a low of 37, and the winds north at 9 miles per hour. And if we look ahead into the weekend, we're going to see those beautiful temperatures again. Friday, a high of 42 with some rain showers and a low of 37. On Saturday, a high of 50 with some beautiful sunshine and a low of 37. And on Sunday, a high of 59 with some mostly cloudy skies and a low of 46. That's all I have for the weather. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that weather report, Bianca. It's nice to know that it's finally feeling like spring here in the UP. And now looking into some more statewide news. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist II has announced the start of the Michigan Healthy Climate Challenge, also known simply as the Challenge. It will award millions of dollars in grants to projects aimed at supporting Michigan's climate goals. Michigan's Healthy Climate Plan is designed to bring down greenhouse gas emissions by 52% by the year 2030. Ultimately, the plan is geared toward achieving 100% carbon neutrality by 2050. As part of the challenge, the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, or EGLE, will hold multiple grant competitions through 2026. These competitions are meant to expand access to solar energy, increase green lending capacity, and increase access to clean energy funding in the state. And most people can't say they've ever won big off a scratch-off. However, one lucky Michigan resident certainly can. An anonymous winner from Genesee County stopped by his local gas station for his weekly coffee and lottery ticket breakfast combination, only to win $1 million moments later. After winning, the 45-year-old chose to receive a one-time lump sum payment of $694,000 rather than enter a payment plan. When asked what he plans to do with his profits, the winner said he wants to buy a new car, further his education, and even start a nonprofit. Lucky players like this one have won over $4 million since the creation of this specific payout game earlier this month, with more than $47 million in prizes remaining. And the Supreme Court heard arguments this week on a case with big implications for schools across the country. It's based on a lawsuit filed by parents who don't want their kids to hear storybooks that include LGBTQ characters. CBS News' Jan Crawford spoke to some of the parents involved.
It's breaking our community apart.
Billy Moses and Grace Morrison are mothers of elementary school-aged children at the center of a fight over parental rights and religious freedom that has landed at the Supreme Court, with both sides making their arguments on Tuesday. It started when school officials in a Maryland county told parents their children could no longer opt out of classes when teachers read from these new storybooks with gay, lesbian, and transgender characters and themes.
It should be up to her father and I to decide how and when to present these things, not the school.
But school officials said so many parents were choosing to opt out, it was unworkable and at odds with their commitment to diversity.
LGBTQ inclusion isn't just a one-day event.
Mark Eckstein is a gay father who helped introduce the books into the curriculum.
This is just a way to kind of make sure that these issues are covered and also representative of the community.
Parent Bridget Howe also supports the books.
I think we need to say as a community that we are accepting and inclusive of all of our community members, and that includes in the storybooks that our children have access to in our schools.
But to Moses, the books force people of faith out of the schools, the opposite of inclusion.
My parents moved our family from overseas because they thought school was important. And to be in the best country in the world, to have the freedom to learn and yet worship God. But being forced to choose between God and education has been very hard.
Jan Crawford, CBS News.
And stick around. After this short break, JT will be back with a sports report you won't want to miss.
Graduates of Northern Michigan University, we are so proud of you for this major accomplishment. Congratulations, you did it!
Watch NMU's 2025 Spring Commencement here on WNMU TV, Saturday, May 3rd at 10:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm JT DeMog, here to break down today's sports action. Starting things off on the hardwood, the Detroit Pistons defeated the New York Knicks, snapping a 15-game postseason losing streak. A back-and-forth game until the final buzzer, where New York went on a 16-4 run late to tie the game at 94. It wasn't until recent acquisition Dennis Schroeder when he etched his name as a new Detroit playoff legend, nailing a dagger three with less than a minute to play. Cade Cunningham led the Pistons with 33 points and 12 rebounds, winning 100-94. Game 3 is Thursday night at 7 p.m. And now swinging it over to the Greens, where the NMU women's golf team will travel to the GLIAC Championship in Augusta, Michigan. The tournament runs Friday to Sunday, where morning matchups on Friday and Saturday will determine the top 4 teams in stroke play competition. Semifinal and final rounds will be decided by match play, with the winner being determined Sunday evening. The Wildcats bring 6 athletes led by senior Maggie Pietla and freshman Maddie Martins. Last year at the GLIAC tournament, the women placed 6th, recording 78 pars and 10 birdies, with a weekend total of 22 over. Shifting gears now, where the 7th annual Wildcat Awards ceremony is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night. A tradition starting in 2019, honoring student athletes, coaches, and teams demonstrating excellence throughout the respective seasons. All nominations are nominated by players and coaches, except Team of the Year, which is decided by an awards committee. Awards include MVP, Breakthrough Athlete of the Year, Moment of the Year, and Scholar Athlete of the Year, among many others. The awards show will be live streamed free on the NMU Wildcats YouTube page. And that's all I have for sports. Now back to the desk.
Well, thank you for that sports update, JT. Aubrey, certainly an exciting time to be a Pistons fan.
It really is. I'm excited to see what they can pull out. But I hear that you have another story for us.
I do. The UP Rainbow Pride will be hosting the Rainbow Rendezvous at the Up North Lodge in Gwinn tomorrow from 6 to 9 p.m. The event is aimed to create a safe and welcoming environment for the LGBTQIA+ community in Marquette. Make Believe Spurs will also be performing live music at the event, and all ages are welcome. Well, certainly an exciting event. Do you think you're going to get out there and make it?
I really wish that I could. I think it's a great event for the community. But that's all the time we have today at Public Eye News. I'm Aubrey Huddleston.
I'm Luke Niddle.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.